Hey, you guys, welcome back to another cooking show of Giani Ben. All right, so today we're going to do something very special close to my heart. All right, it's not a cacciatore dish, it's a poor man's dish series, like I did mention the last time in my last video, but it's a poor man's dish from a farmer's point of view, using a long time ago the poorest part of the pork in Italy. And it's the name of it is actually called cassoeula di.Lombardi. Cassoeula because it translates in French almost like a casserole, or in English like a casserole, and di.Lombardi because it's the region north of Milano, which is the central part of Italy that goes straight up into the Alps. So back then they used to use the pork ribs, the pig's tongue, the pig's feet, the pork belly, the pig's ear, and they used to boil it. And today you can go to very, very elegant Italian restaurants that actually do the same thing, but and mix it with cabbage also. The whole dish was mixed with cabbage. But the whole thing is that they have a different way to finish it. It's a super elegant way. And there are different ways of finishing it up. So there's two different ways also to cook it mostly. I've seen it cooked it with a red sauce, with a lot of more tomato sauce and tomato juices and different things, or a white sauce. And today, this is what we're going to do, meaning that we're going to do it actually cooked with mushrooms, orange, and actually white wine and different herbs. So as you can see, I already started for just like video purpose. I already cooked my cabbage and we're going to go over that. And I already started to actually reduce some really thick pieces of pork belly fat. All right. And I've like took three orange slices, thick orange slices with parsley, herbs of Provence or Italian seasoning, some fresh thyme, and a pretty good volume of parsley actually. And I got the rendering, the fat out of that. So, and some mushroom, a little bit of mushroom. And what we're going to do to that, all right, we're going to have a lot of fun to actually do it in a very elegant way. So what I got some beautiful spare ribs, all right, and I'm going to put some caraway seeds that are crushed into my crusher, and I'm going to put a little bit more of those Italian seasoning, just on one side, not too much, okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay them right in there, okay? Right on top of those orange and bacon pieces fat, just like that, all right? Just like that. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of capers, no black olives, because that's going to be done with white wine, okay? I'm going to do 3 slices of orange on top of it that I'm going to mess up a little bit, get the juices out just a little bit, not too much, all right? And with this, I'm going to add that much white wine. That's going to go right in there, all right? Now, the dish has barely any garlic, but what it does is that it has a pretty good volume of shallots. That is the queen of this dish with white wine. All right. So this is what we're going to do. All right. And then we're going to bring the temperature straight up. Okay. And we're going to go for it and do that. Let it sear up a little bit. Now, on the other hand, what I've got on the other side is that I started 2 big handful of mushroom, also with caraway seeds and fennel seeds. All right. And it's just like I just started it on a different top, basically. Not with the pork. I would just want them to actually sweat them out. Same thing as the previous time that I kind of like mentioned those type of cooking where you've got to sweat your mushrooms out to get the water out of it, so we can get actually the flavors out of our mushrooms. So this is not really going to take any time at all, really. It's when you turn the heat up, you let them sweat, and this is it. So while this is going, at the same time, I'm going to take some pork sausage that's already cut, and I'm going to put it in there. The rest of it, I'm going to put it right over here with the other pork, with the oranges and stuff like that. I got my heat turned straight up, and those dishes don't take too long to make either. Again, that's the whole purpose of those videos, that we can make them. So basically, in this particular application, we're going to try to do it a little quicker. But the true story is that it's a poor man's dish, so it would cook for an hour at least, all right, with the cabbage. And while this is cooking, I am going to show you what I did with the cabbage, all right? So in there, I've got red cabbage, extremely good for you. I got small potatoes, not even the big ones that you chunked. Look how tiny those things are. All right. I got tons of leek. Leek is very, very good for you. I got my chunked carrots right in there. And I've got regular Italian cabbage, which is also called Savoy cabbage. And the Savoy cabbage, he has actually those rough leaves like that. And you just chunk it, you clean the heart out of it, and you just make slices out of it. Or you can use regular cabbage, just like that. And that works too. You just slice it very thin and then mix it just in there. Not much like sauerkraut, a little thicker than sauerkraut. And then when you've got like as you're making your dish like that, if you have some extra sausage, Italian sausage, you just put it in there. It's a poor man's dish, all right? And then I put my caraway seeds in there, a good amount of caraway seeds and fennel and onions. And really, it's up to you how much of those spices you want. And I've got also another queen of the dish, Brussels sprouts. And I don't cut them in half. I just let them all like that. I just trim the back of it. And that's that. So this is, while this is cooking, I already take care of that. That's already on the stove. You can do that dish in 45 minutes. Another reason why I can do it so quickly, instead of like an upright pot, it's because I love to use a very wide pot, just like that, who has a big surface to actually relay the heat into all these vegetables that you cook, compared to like a more narrow pot where you would have to put the cover on and wait a lot longer to actually for your dish to come up. So as we're reducing our mushrooms, I got a little bit of Italian sausage in there. All right. And now that it's actually sweated, I'm going to put a cover on so I can actually cook those Italian sausages a little faster than that. On the meantime, look at that. I got my pork ribs who are soaked into that concoction, that sauce of orange with capers, Italian pork sausage. And we've got tons of capers. We've got herbs, Italian seasoning herbs, or the herbs of Provence again. And I got a little layer of mushrooms. I got fresh thyme. And this is also the tree part of the thyme. So I'm kind of like removing it so nobody chokes on it. And then this is a concoction basically of those oranges actually are starting to cook right in there with the white wine. And that's just going to be delicious. Yeah, it's going to cook very, very fast. Now, while this is cooking, I really wanted to show you two other treasure sauces that my parents used to serve, and my grandmother used to serve also with any kind of dish like that. And this is going to be the queen of them all right? So you've seen the last video, if you've seen one of the last video, that I've made this concentrate tomato tapenade, and I put I crushed some fresh rosemary in there, olive oil, and then you put some red balsamic vinegar in it, and you shape it up. You basically flip it over and over until it's like a paste, a dark red paste. Okay. Now the other two that we're gonna do are done with white balsamic vinegar. So you have the white balsamic vinegar, you got the red balsamic vinegar, and they have completely different taste, and they are absolutely phenomenal to cook with. So those are treasure sauce dressing, just like this tapenade, all right, that we've made the last time. So it all depends how much you want to make, but the base of it is that one of them is going to be based more on parsley, and the other one's going to have more of the volume of shallots with it. So to make it very simple, it's 50% of olive oil and 50% in volume of white balsamic vinegar, not red. Same thing for the other sauce, all right? 50%. You add a pinch of kosher salt in each one of them, not much. I'm going to put some black pepper, good pinch in both of them, just like that, all right? And then, to do the first one, I'm gonna take some fresh thyme, and I'm gonna just pull it out and put it right in there, all right? Same thing for the second one. I'm going to put some fresh thyme in there, okay? They have also fresh rosemary that I've completely chopped up, really fine, all right? Because this is something that when you cook with rosemary, you can leave the whole branch, the little twig in there, because eventually it's going to get softer. But when you're making it into a sauce like this, your guests or your family are pretty much going to eat it. So you want to like chop it up pretty fine. So this green sauce has a majority of parsley in it. So what I do is that I take a good amount of parsley. Oh, by the way, I forgot to put more parsley in there. I mean, look at this. Doesn't that look beautiful? All right, you've got that pork, all right there with the orange and the parsley. It just looks marvelous, all right? I mean, this is just beautiful to look at. So like now, I got a good amount of parsley, all right? And what I'm gonna do with it, I'm gonna chop it up super fine, all right? Super duper fine, okay? And some of the pieces are gonna be a little thicker than the other ones, but otherwise, it's like a mixed bag of super sharp and not so much super sharp. Before I put my parsley in this one, I'm gonna take 1 good spoon of mustard. I'm gonna put it. I use like Dijon mustard, and then right there, that much parsley. I mean a good amount of parsley in there, and then you're gonna stick it right into this green sauce. And then what we're gonna do with it, we're just gonna stir it up. So we got salt, pepper, 50% of olive oil, 50% of white balsamic vinegar. All right, and it's gonna have about tanginess to it. All right, it's really delicious. But this is something that once you get used to eating it, then you can have it a little bit with bread. But this is the kind of stuff that you actually put on meat. You can use it on poultry, pork, and also the vegetables. But I really wanted to show you that because this is elegance in terms of flavors. And for the second, this is my green sauce, basically. Now, for the white sauce, it's going to be the same thing, the same base. It's got fresh rosemary. It's got fresh thyme in there. And then we're gonna do a lot of chopped shallots, and we're gonna basically the only way that you can do shallots in a nice way, you split it in half basically, because those things want to roll. All right, and then we just do it super fine. So I already started to do that. Okay, and you just do what you got to do, but you actually have to like shred them super fine, the best that you can. Okay, it cannot be completely crunched to nothing. It has to have a little pieces of shallots in there. It can be completely mushed, but what you're going to do, all right, same thing. You're going to take 1 spoon, a good spoon, teaspoon of Dijon mustard. We're going to put it in there. Then we're going to add those shallots right in there. So it's going to be a shallots-based white dressing. And we're going to stir it up. And then you're going to see these beautiful colors. And it's going to turn white. It's got that fresh rosemary in there. And I can tell you, I wish that you would be here with me, because my kitchen right now smells so good. And I want your kitchen to smell as good as mine. And especially we're coming towards the holidays. And it's a good alternative to, regular food that we eat in the holidays, wherever parts of the world that we are. So we mix it up. And then you see it turns white basically. Just like that. And this is what we want to achieve. That white balsamic vinegar. And you cannot do that if the shallots are cut too fine. That's why you got to have a little coarse, because it actually helps you to actually make, that mix like that. And it's absolutely delicious. And basically, when the dish is done, all right, this is what happens to it. Okay? So, what we have there, we can serve one good amount of that stew. We're going to take those mushrooms, who are completely reduced now, all right, and we're going to mix them in right on top of the pork, just like that. And that sausage is done, all right? And what happens is that, I'm sure that you remember in my previous video that I did mention that rendering that's on the bottom. So this is the part where you really have to have. You scrape it all up, just like that. All right? And I don't care if you mix it in with water. All right? And that's what the thing that was happening actually in my parents' restaurant. You scrape that rendering, the bottom, all that brown juicy stuff, and you basically add on to it. Just like that. Now, really, it didn't take long to make. That pork is pretty much done, because between the mushrooms and there's always some water in the meat. So that's why you're getting a little bit, you gotta pay attention basically when you make a dish like that, that if it looks like it's too dry, then you add a little bit of water. But there's water in the meat, there's water in the bones and stuff like that. So, without even adding some water to it, all right, you just basically let it rip on high, okay? And the beauty of a dish like this is very simple, is that when you're ready to serve it, all right, so like this red sauce would be basically based, if you would cook it with a little bit more tomatoes. And I'm sure down the road, maybe next time I'll do the same dish cooked with a little bit of tomatoes in there. And then that's when you can actually enjoy to actually use that tapenade. But frankly, you can also use it with a white sauce. So you've got the parsley, and so like you let the people either put some parsley right on there, all right, or on the meat, or okay, let the people use the white sauce But what it is, it's basically, after 20, 25 minutes, I've got the pork on high. You don't want to overcook the pork. Again, a lot of people make that mistakes, and that's a big no-no. All right. And that's the old traditional way, basically. And then, basically, you take some pork, just like that, those beautiful pork ribs. We have the parsley, tons of mushrooms, the orange juice on it was been basically reduced, and you can play with it. A little bit of Italian sausage right over it, just like that. And basically, the flavors are like unreal, out of this world. And what people, like my parents used to do, actually, you serve some mushrooms on it with like, that pancetta and stuff like that. So also, what my parents used to do at the restaurant, they actually used to have a little dish on the side, all right? And my grandmother used to do the same thing, all right? And you serve like a pretty good amount per person, all right? Until we got time, remove it, just like that. And that's it, basically. You just let the people basically take a chunk of the meat, all right? And then let the people actually dig into that sauce, and or like sausage or whatever they want to do. And it's just out of this world. And this is something that, coming into the holidays, I'm very, very glad that I bring it to you, because this is another treasure that was serving to my family. And it's done in a very elegant way. And the fact that you've got that sauce with the white one, it's got to be, and the capers, again, not the black olives. It's absolutely delicious. It's a good spin on an old humble beginning dish. Like I said, some of the poorest people will eat that, and with a little bit of citrus right on it, with the white one, the capers, the fresh rosemary, the mushrooms, and when you cut that Italian sausage, it's got all the herbs in there. It's just phenomenal. So, if you like the video, please subscribe to our channel, to YouTube channel, and I look forward for the next video and spend time with you guys. And I hope that you can look over. I try to speak a little slower so people can actually understand what's in the white sauce and the green sauce. And if you're looking at right down here, all right, the thing that's pretty cool about that is that we've got the green, we got the white, we got the red. That's the flag of Italy: green, white, and red. So, buon appetito. Until next time, I hope that you enjoy everything that we do here and enjoy the food.